beware. You're in for a scare. Ultimate Goosebumps.
Hey everyone, Pushing Up Roses here, and welcome to another Goosebumps thing. I recently decided to rewatch all 4 seasons of this series because now that Christmas is over, I'm out of shitty Hallmark movies, so I transitioned over into low-budget children's horror. Seemed appropriate. Then I decided, why not do another episode retrospective? Yeah, it's a little out of season, but so are strawberries, and that doesn't stop me from making a fruit smoothie, so why the hell not? Today I'm covering an episode of Goosebumps, which was a live-action series based on the extremely popular books by R.L. Stine. It premiered on Canadian network YTV in 1995, and some of the more popular episodes include The Haunted Mask, Welcome to Camp Nightmare, and One Day at Horrorland, but I'm not talking about any of those. I don't discuss good things, I discuss questionable things, so today I'm presenting you with an old story. Unlike many of the other episodes that were based on individual books, this one was based on a short story that was part of a collection called Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps. Our tale begins with a couple of hungry preteens, Tom and John, who are looking for food. After realizing that they don't have any food because their parents did not go grocery shopping before taking an out-of-town trip, they head on down to the basement in search of pizza, which is honestly a tragedy. If you have pizza, you don't keep it in a crappy, insect-infested basement, you build a shrine to it and honor it like the treasure it is. John makes a quip about how the basement is scary because there are spider webs down there.
Spiders? It's a basement. There are spiders.
The heck you say? The door dramatically swings shut behind them, and after a very brief moment of suspense, the door opens back up to reveal an intriguing silhouette. Oh, look, we found Carmen Sandiego. Sorry, I tried really hard to make that joke work, but there's only so many times one can make a Carmen Sandiego reference. This woman is, in fact, not a fortune teller, but the boys' Aunt Dahlia, who will be babysitting them while their parents are on holiday. Right away, this woman starts making creepy, inappropriate statements.
I just know the girls are gonna go crazy for you when you're older.
Also, is anybody else getting a Children of the Corn vibe from this kid? I'm not trying to be mean here, he just genuinely reminds me of Isaac. He wants you too, Malachi. Aunt Dahlia says she's gonna go whip up some cookies in the kitchen, and the two boys reflect on how weird she is while playing with this super high-tech VR headset. And by high-tech, I mean that somebody definitely glued a K'NEX piece to this thing. When Aunt Dahlia returns, she offers them prune cookies. Everyone's favorite.
They're prunes.
Prunes? She's also very insistent that the boys eat these abominations, and if they don't eat them, they will not be getting dinner, which would normally sound like a dream come true, but in this case, the cookies were moving. What in the fuck is this kid wearing? The boys try to get a good night's sleep under the watchful eye of Jim Morrison, but keep getting interrupted by loud noises. Convinced that their aunt is doing creepy shit downstairs, they decide to go check, but Aunt Dahlia barges in before they even open the door, ready to assure them that no funny business is afoot and that they need their beauty sleep.
Now get right back into bed. You need your beauty sleep.
They wake up in the morning feeling under the weather, sore, exhausted. It's very similar to being in your 30s, honestly, but after going downstairs, they find that it's something far worse. They have wrinkles. So yeah, this story gets very weird, and that's probably being charitable. If it's not blatantly obvious, the prunes that Aunt Dahlia used in her cooking were in fact enchanted. And the reason she made this quip earlier in the episode,
I just know the girls are gonna go crazy for you when you're older,
is because her plan is to rapidly age her 2 nephews so she can hook them up with 2 old women who paid her for husbands.
Where are those 2 cute boys you've told us so much about?
The suspense is killing me.
And so is my arthritis. I'm trying to understand this here. Is there a lack of single older men out there? Why exactly do we need to age preteens so that these 2 women, one of whom looks like she spent way too much time at a Vegas casino, can have husbands to retire with? The real creep factor here is that even though they've aged physically, they haven't aged mentally. They are still weird preteen boys inside these wrinkled up bodies. The women seem to know that that is the case, but they don't care. They just want a hot partner. And by hot, I mean this. The boys are aware that they're aging due to the fact that their skin quality has degraded to that of a rhinoceros. When Aunt Dahlia notices they are out of milk, Tom offers to go to the store to buy more and tries to convince her that John should go with him in a feeble attempt at an escape, but these thirsty women will not allow it.
John, come and sit down. Ooh, let's get to know each other.
In a somewhat cheesy first-person point of view scene, Tom goes through the store looking for milk while everyone there blatantly treats him like an old man.
Hey, Bob, get the letter, okay?
I just cannot get enough of these dramatic stings. They are the best.
They're prunes.
Prunes?
As he passes by a stand of sunglasses, he catches his reflection in the mirror and figures out why people are treating him differently. I wonder which one of these would look best on me. He books it home and finds that John has also aged even more, and they try to come up with yet another feeble attempt at an escape, but because their bodies are so frail, they can't manage anything, even the simple task of climbing out the window. So they basically just kinda give up because they're tired and hungry. Tom especially is very intent on finding something to snack on. The only thing they have in their pantry is a jar of baby food, which wasn't there before, and no one knows why it's there, but whatever, when you're hungry, you're hungry. I've eaten old stale Cheetos out of my bra before, so I get it. Tom shovels some of it into his gob, and suddenly the aging starts to reverse.
You're getting younger.
Wow, squash really does have anti-aging benefits. The baby food is the antidote for the enchanted prunes because, you know, baby food is for babies, prunes are for old people. The clever use of these items is just killing me. Though I am slightly confused that the antidote is in plain sight. Not sure what Aunt Dahlia was thinking there. The women hear the commotion and scurry into the kitchen where Aunt Dahlia tries to intimidate them into eating more enchanted prune-based meals.
Oh no! What happened to them?
Mimi, grab the baby food.
Okay, go long! Go long!
Catch!
Ooh, and it's out of bounds. Just when it seems like Tom is within the clutches of Aunt Dahlia again, he suddenly remembers the prunes. He reaches into the fridge, pulls out a fresh pitcher of prune juice, and douses her in the face. I guess because Aunt Dahlia is already a little older and this is such a concentrated dose of prune, it ages her until she turns to ash. Wow, that's brutal. I never thought Goosebumps was particularly frightening, even in childhood, but this rotting skull aesthetic is quite nice. Seeing as though Aunt Dahlia has disintegrated and the boys are back to normal, the women decide to pretend that this murder has not taken place and make a run for it. It would seem that everything is fine, but alas, there is a problem. For some reason that I just cannot wrap my head around, John decides to eat another jar of baby food. I don't know where it came from. It was implied that there was only one earlier on, but since he ate the entire thing, he aged down into a baby. I just have no idea why he decided to do this. It's not explained. Was he afraid of getting crow's feet or something? This is bothering me. What the fuck was he thinking? Tom runs into the kitchen to get some trash cookies and tries to get little baby John to eat it, but the episode ends ambiguously, leaving the viewer wondering if things get resolved or not. That's something I've always liked about a lot of the Goosebumps episodes. Even though they weren't the most spine-tingling stories, I do appreciate some of the unhappy conclusions. Now let's take a look at some of the differences between this episode and the short story because there are a few significant ones. In the short story, the boys are given prunes instead of prune cookies. Just straight prunes. I think the cookies were probably a good way to go. I can't really see many kids realistically wanting to snack on plain ones, and the addition of the cookies also helped to aid the ending. The baby food was not the antidote in the short story. Instead, it was wrinkle cream, which again makes a lot less sense to me than baby food as most wrinkle creams are snake oil bullshit. Sorry, I know I'm nitpicking as the wrinkle cream was probably enchanted, but I've been trying to get rid of my eye wrinkles for years and none of this crap works. Anti-aging my ass. In the episode, the kids already know Aunt Dahlia, as well as their parents who aren't shown on screen, but when Aunt Dahlia speaks to the mom on the phone, it is clear that she is their biological aunt. In the short story, nobody had ever seen Aunt Dahlia, and the parents were under the impression that she was related to the other. The biggest difference is the ending. Obviously, in the episode, we get our vague baby food eating ending, but since there was no baby food in the short story, nothing even close to that happens. Instead, Tom goes to school the next day after Aunt Dahlia perishes and sees his crush eating a ton of prunes. He goes up to her, warns her to stay away from them, and they share his sandwich. I do prefer the episode ending as it is a little more ominous, a little more exciting, but it makes very little sense. I have so many questions. First of all, how in the world are these boys going to explain to their dad that his sister turned to dust as a result of splashing her with enchanted prune juice? I think it makes more sense in the short story where Aunt Dahlia was just a stranger, no blood relation to the family, so if she dies, nobody's gonna give a shit. Also, it makes more sense that a random psychopath is trying to exploit these boys. It's very strange that their own aunt would want to sell them off to a few older ladies so they have somebody to play cards with. Seriously, are there just no older gentlemen available in the universe that are willing to play a thrilling game of bridge? When the boys are playing this incredibly fake VR game, John asks Tom if Dahlia really is their aunt, and Tom says yes, guess, and adds that his father never wants her to come over. This is followed by Dahlia trying to persuade the boys to eat the cookie, saying it's a family tradition and that their father loved them when he was young. Good lord, was she also trying to rapidly age her own brother so she could sell him to horny old women? What in the world is going on in this episode? This is so fucking weird. I mean, I'm the weird aunt in my family too, but I'm definitely against selling my nieces and nephews for a small fee. Well, I don't know, maybe if the offer was really high. But I digress. I do like the original story, I just think the episode is weird as fuck. It stands out to me because of how bizarre the plot is, and again, I do like the up for interpretation ending. Also, this death scene really did strike me. I thought it was disturbing the first time I saw it. It's worth watching if you're a Goosebumps fan or a children's horror fan. Not the best episode in the series, but definitely one of the weirdest.
No cookies, no supper.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my episode retrospective on an old story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to talk Goosebumps episodes with me, then check out the social media links in the description. If you want to support the show, find me on Patreon and you can forever listen to me rant about weird shit. It's appealing, I know. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.